Hello everyone, this is David from Founder's Journey, and today we are talking about a very interesting topic because I received the question, how do I launch or how do I build a software product out of my agency business from scratch, my consultancy business, doesn't matter. And I will show you the approach, the framework that we used in the early days to build a 20 million in total revenue software product. So the question is, how do we do it? As I already told you, I have nothing to sell you. The only thing I want to do is give a little bit of that back, what I received from all my mentors in the early days, and share it with you. So you might make use out of that and build your own business. I would really like to see that, see you successful in here. I'm going to share 4 things. The first thing is like, why do you want to build a product business? So what kind of business do you want to build here? The 4 circles of product, as I call it. What is actually good enough? So when am I ready to launch? What do I have to build in order to show it to someone, right? So how did we approach this one? And in the end, how to do a proper pivot and how to do this in a structured way. So happy to share these with you and take our story as an example how we did it in the past. So let's get started, and let's start with why. So the first question I asked this founder from Denmark that asked me how he should do it is, what kind of business do you want to build? Do you want to build a product business that helps you do your service or consultancy business in a better way? So it enables growth, does revenue for you, do a little bit of recurring revenue here. Do you want to build a lifestyle business that works as automated as possible and you have to invest just a little bit of time and a little bit of money in it? Do you want to build a big product business, 100% maybe a SaaS business, and make it big, exit it at some point? Or do you just want to build a big business and do a lot of EBIT, so have a lot of revenue? And that was my question. And what he wanted to do is he wanted to build something that supports his agency business. I'd say the approach is almost the same, just a couple of things that are important to remember if you do that. The next step is like, how do you do it, right? How did we do it? So I really like this book from, I think it's from Patrick Blaskowitz. He wrote a book called The Lean Entrepreneur, like at least 10 years ago or something. I read it and I found it really helpful. And there was a model in it, which I call the 4 circles of product. The question is, where do you focus on? What's in the center of the circle, right? It could be either a technology that you have developed. It could be a pain or a gain that you want to solve. Or it could be a segment, so a specific audience of people that you want to provide value for. Then you build a product around it and you find a channel to bring it to the customers, to market it, to sell it in the end. The question is, where did we start? We had a technology in the beginning. So we started as a digital agency and we had this kind of technology, didn't know what to do with it, but it was cool. It could do cool stuff with social media, right? And did a project around it. And then we said, hey, this could be interesting for other customers as well. And then we said, okay, how do we actually provide value? And the first thing that we did is, okay, we know one social media manager. Let's talk to this one. And we did a customer discovery phase there. I'll tell you about it later. The technology, the pain, the segment, the product, the channel. And the question is, what's at your core? At our core, it was the technology, but it could be a certain pain that you want to solve. So stay on top of things, provide overview, fix the lead funnel, get more leads, do more sales, whatever the specific pain or challenge is you want to do. Enhance collaboration in your team, right? Have a better hiring success, whatever the pain or the gain is you're trying to solve here. Or it could be a segment. If you are really fell in love with like dentists, for example, or the retail industry, then you could put a specific segment that you want to provide value for at the core, which is absolutely fine. And then you put the pain, the technology around it, and then build a product for them, right? And this could be your 4 circles as well. Maybe you know basketball, right? There is this special thing called a pivot. So you put one foot on the ground and it stays on the ground. It stays exactly where you put it. And then you have the other foot available to like move around, right? But you don't move this foot, you just move this foot, and it's a structured approach. And it's exactly the same that you can do with the 4 circles. And you could switch pain, segment, and technology as you wanted, just to be really careful about that you don't change your core, because then everything gets messed up, right? Because progress equals happiness, and if you have a structured approach, you can always go one step back, it doesn't work, or if it doesn't like create a product you want to do, start from there and then put in the next one. Pick a different segment, but solve the same pain for those people, for example, or use the same technology and target different segment to provide value for, right? And by this, you just reduce it, go back and forth till you have a working four-circle model to provide value, build a channel to your customers, and then you actually can provide value with the product, build a great product business around it. And how did we do it, right? I told you that we have this technology at our core, and we had one social media manager that we knew. We called him and we asked him, hey, how does your work week look like? How does your average day look like? What software do you use? What are your biggest problems or your biggest challenges at the moment? If you would have a magic wand, what would you wish for, right? If you could fix anything, what would you fix, make better, improve, increase? And just tell us about it. And we had this conversation, said, thank you so much, this was really helpful. Can you maybe introduce me to 2 more that we have an interview with? It would be so appreciated, so please help us here. And he said, okay, sure. So we do the connections and we follow up with them and then in the end had like 100 of different conversations here, from big to small companies. In our case, it was like from Audi, a big German car company, to Zalando, which is a big e-commerce company. And we talked to all the social media managers, social media teams in there, and then did notes, documented everything. Then we put like all those documentation, put in a big word cloud. In those days it was like at a whiteboard, and we put all the post-its there. Probably better to do it like in a digital tool today. And then we figured out, oh my God, there is some patterns, right? So pattern recognition is the next step. There are some patterns, and people talking about the same stuff here. In our case, wanted to stay on top of all the things. People talking here on Twitter and here on Facebook and here in the comments, and it's hard to stay on top of it. So they wanted to have this overview, right? And what we did then, okay, that's the pain, right? They want to have all their ongoing conversations in a great overview. And then we built a product around it. That's what today is called SocialHub, with a lot of more product features, modules, right? So very important to talk to the customers first. A good mentor of mine, Christian Edel, said that the customer has the answers to all your questions, and maybe don't ask them about the best pricing approach, just test it, right? And then see how it goes. I wouldn't ask for pricing, but for everything else. And the question is, what do I actually need before I can do my first sale? This is really different. I think there are some people building the complete product first and then try to bring it to the market. There are people who are selling wireframes, right? We did build the product first and then try to sell it and figure out it doesn't scale. So we had to completely rebuild it. And the next time we did it differently. We first built the wireframe, talked it through with some customers, right? Got the insight, learned what pain it is actually we want to solve, for which segment and around which technology, built the wireframes, built a layout around it, showed it to all of them, and then talked those 100 customers through again. And then in the end found a customer who said, if you build this till then I'm going to pay you X thousand euros a month, a year. And then we said, great, we're going to make it happen. Can you do it till February? Of course we can do it till February. And we delivered it with a lot of stress of the development team. But in the end, we made it happen, right? That's what it's all about, solving the pain of the customers. But you don't have to have built the whole product in the beginning. It's even better because you're more agile, more flexible if you don't have. Afterwards, we built a community around it, invited everybody and said, hey, if you want to test this product that we created for you, it's free of charge. You can just use it. And in a year from now on, we're going to have people pay for it, but till then you can just use it. We would really love to get your feedback, develop this with you together in this community. We put all of them in a Facebook group, build it together, and from there we started and then sell the product and try to provide more value to the customers every month, every quarter, every year, and that's how it grows. So to answer the question, how to launch or how to build a software tool out of a consultancy business, I think the approach is kind of similar if you do it from scratch out of a consultancy business or from an agency business. The main difference here is if you have an existing business, you always have to find a way to manage the resources, right? Focus is everything. Where focus goes, energy flows. So the question is, can you do both at once? I think it's really hard to do that. So you should have at least one person working full-time on the product, or you get defocused and probably end up with what you had before, right? So I'm a big fan of building dedicated teams. We introduced all our customers from the agency business to partners of ours and handed them over and go from X revenue to 0 revenue. We had a certain run rate out of the existing cash that we had, and then built the product from scratch, did our first kind of seed round with some angel investors, and till we hit product market fit and then scale it from there. So I think focus is really important. So decide first what type of business you want to build, then run through the 4 circles of product, find this structured approach, figure out when it's good enough to actually sell it. Money is always like a good indicator of you have built something of value. If the total addressable market is big enough, then you probably have a really good business. And I shared how we did it, how to do a proper pivot, and I hope this was helpful for you. So have much success with your own business and let's get it on. See you soon. Bye-bye.